Welcome back. Welcome back. I know this is old news about Karl Malone impregnating a resurface, which is something I didn't know because I don't follow sports or anything like that. I'm just not a sports person per se. But I found it very interesting that I guess the family never pressed charges or anything on this. He denied that Demetrius Bell was his son. It's just mind boggling because at 20 and 13, that's a 7-year difference. Does that make him a pedo? I mean, or is that just a mistake of college? Because that's the only out. Come on, stream y'all. As far as being with a 13-year-old, but I thought it was a topic for discussion. What y'all think? Is Karl Malone a pedo, or should he have paid? And Demetrius Bell is a football player, and he now recognized him. But this is what the article said: NBA great Karl Malone, and I thought he was an a-hole when all that stuff came out with Magic Johnson having HIV and he did not want to play with Magic. But I guess maybe back then it wasn't a lot on HIV that if you play a basketball game, you weren't going to get HIV that way. But I just thought he was an a-hole in how he handled that situation. So I never was really interested in him. But anyway, NBA great Karl Malone states he has finally made peace with the son he conceived at age 22. I thought he was 20, so my bad. At age 22 with a 13-year-old girl, Gloria Bell. Malone initially denied paternity, fearing imprisonment, and refused to pay 125 a week in child support despite earning 101,703,378 throughout his NBA career. He eventually settled with the family out of court, and a DNA test did in fact reveal Malone to be the father of Buffalo Bills player Demetrius Bell, now publicly acknowledged Bell as his son. But I think my shock is he denied paternity, refused $25 a week in child support after earning almost $102 million throughout his NBA. And the family never got a lawyer and took him to court. They never tried to, um, put him in jail. I just find that just hard to believe. I'm good. How are you? I just find that hard to believe with Karl Malone and Demetrius, and now he publicly. But I want to find out how is Demetrius being after being denied, and Demetrius Bell is a football player. This is how Demetrius Bell, drafted a couple of weeks ago by the Buffalo Bills in the seventh round, describes his relationship with his father. I treat it as if my mother went to the sperm bank. Damn. I don't hate him for not being in my life. It made me a better person. But it's pretty hard to reduce your father to a DNA dispenser when everyone else in the world knows him as an NBA second leading scorer of all time, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, and arguably the greatest power forever. Yes, Bill's father is Karl Malone, and if you're wondering why you never heard of Bill or seen those two engaged in any father in some moments, it's because Malone apparently wants nothing to do with him. Malone has never publicly spoken about Bill. Attempts were made to contact Malone through the NBA office, but he never responded. It's hard to tell which is more astonished that Malone actually feels this way or that Bill was able to overcome the heartbreaking reality of being rejected by a parent. I know exactly how that feels. That is one of the most hurtful mm, childhood traumas is to be rejected by a parent. Because I was rejected by my father, and I get mad every time we finally established a relationship in my 40s. But every time he asks me for something, I get mad because he old and decrepit. Now he need help, and now he expect me to help him, and I get pissed. I get pissed off. You wasn't there all my life, and now that you old, you want to establish this relationship, and you can't pay back that time. You can't. And I think I would have did a lot of things differently if he would have been in my life. You know what I'm saying? So what matters most is that Bill triumphed in spite of how his father behaved. He grew up in Somerville, Louisiana, Malone's hometown, and earned a basketball scholarship to Northwestern State, nearly 2.5 hours away from Summerfield. Everyone there describes Bill as a gem. When I called the school to find out more about Bill, the sports information director talked nonstop about how polite, well liked, and determined Bill is. Malone aside, Bill's story is unbelievable. He thought he was going to be a big time basketball star like you know who, and didn't start playing football until 3 years ago. The football staff looked at Bell's size and relative speed and hitched the idea that Bell would make an outstanding defensive end. He played that position in 2005, appearing in just one game. The next season, he was pressed into duty and as offensive tackle 3 weeks before the season started. At 22 straight stars, Bell became an All American. Damn, I never knew this. A first time All Southland Conference selection and now a proud NFL player. Bell expected to. Wow. Bell isn't the only Malone child to fall victim to this rather heinous pick and, pick and roll. Bell is one of 3 children. Malone has father outside of wedlock, although he is the only one who Malone has apparently refused to have a relationship with. Malone's other 2 children outside his marriage are Turner Tears, Daryl and Cheryl Ford. Both of them played basketball at Louisiana State. Like their father, sure is a fortune. I did not know that Cheryl is Carl Malone is her dad. I never knew that. You may have seen the commercial with Cheryl Ford and her famous father, who finally appeared in his twins' life when they were 17. Bill lost out of the father lottery. According to Bill, Malone told him it was too late for him to be his father and he'll have to make it on his own. Nice to meet you too, Dad. I grew up around good people. I never turned to a father figure. I was lucky. I didn't need anything else. I'm happy. I don't need anything else. Now, it would be one thing if Malone was unable to financially provide for his son, but he made over 100 million during his NBA career. The Salt Lake Tribune reported that Bill's grandparents initially took Malone to court for paternity in '86. I see. I just said that I didn't know this. His second year with the Jazz, they requested Malone pay 200 a week. Malone didn't respond to the suit, but a Louisiana judge ruled he was Bill's father after paternity test showed that he was indeed accurate and ordered Malone to pay 125 a week plus past and future medical expenses. Malone claimed that that was too much and later reached a confidential out of court settlement with Bell's family between 88 and 89. He is an asshole. I always thought that ever since that happened with worse is that Bill has developed good relationship with Cheryl and Durrell, who also grew up in Summerfield. The three have gone fishing together, and Bill describes them as a tight knit group. Though one can't help but wonder if Cheryl hadn't stared at her father's alma mater, starred at her father's alma mater and gone on to play professionally, would Malone have felt so inclined to reappear in her life? If the media hadn't done so many stories about how Cheryl was following in her dad's footsteps, would we ever have seen Malone in the stands with his daughter who won a WNBA championship in 2003? I did not know that that was her father. I just can't fathom how someone can acknowledge their own child, said Jalen Rose, who had a nearly non existent relationship with his father, Jimmy Walker, a basketball legend at Providence and the number one pick in 1967 NBA. Look at this, all these fathers' children, and we wonder what's wrong with our children. It's the father. It really is. Rose spoke to his father for the first time in 9 years, but he was fortunate in the sense that when his father played, the NBA wasn't as popular as it is now, and Walker didn't have the same distinguished career as Malone. The first time Rose and Walker met was at Walker's funeral last year. Wow. I know about kerosene heater, sugar milk, and syrup sandwiches, Rose said. See, sandwiches, Ebonics. Those are the days when I was bitter in person, but I went to college, became an All American, and an NBA career. I had to realize that was God's plan for me. I was healthy and happy, and it wasn't like I was living under some freeway. But Rose admitted that when he was growing up, his father's abandonment drove him to both a great player and a good student. He wanted to show his father what a huge mistake he made by not being a part of his life. It's the reason Rose chose number 42 when he was at Southwestern High School in Detroit. My grandma, that's right, my grandmother was still teaching at Southwestern High School. She taught special ed when Jalen Rose went there. And they were winning all them basketball games because my grandmother would take me to those basketball games as a child. I sure do remember. He knew his father wore 24. I wanted sorely to let him know by name and rub it in his face and let him know what he was missing. Bill says he has nothing to prove to Malone, although no one could blame him if he secretly wanted to show up as his old man. I asked Bill what he would do if his father called him up one day and ready to be what he's never been. It's something I haven't thought about, and I'm not really ready to talk about it. I just don't know right now. Absentee father certainly isn't the image most have of Malone. Wow. A decade ago, Malone and his wife, with whom he has fathered four children, spoke at a conference on families and talked openly about the children Malone has fathered outside of their marriage. Of course, the Malones were talking about Daryl and Shirley, and not Demetrius. Malone told the audience, everything I've been through, everything I'm about to go through in my career and my life, if my family wasn't with me, didn't support me, it would be really rough. He is an asshole. Mm, mm, mm. Now, Malone, so they at I think at Louisiana Tech they did a statue for Malone. I think this was in yeah 23, and so this goes on to say before Malone began his story 2 decade career in the NBA. He played at Louisiana Tech, where as a now they say 20-year old, but the other one said 22-year old. I'm not sure, but he impregnated a 13-year-old girl, Gloria Bell. And of course, blah, blah, blah. He denied paternity, and Demetrius Bell is his son. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. He must have a relationship. Malone initially denied paternity, but has since reconciled with his son. Wow. So so he did reconcile with his son. That is great. Demetrius Bell himself, a former professional athlete who played 5 seasons in the NFL, Bell, alongside Malone's 6 other children, appeared at his side at the ceremony, according to the advocate. Wow, that is awesome. The decision to honor Malone comes at a time when college athletics is finally beginning to grapple with long-standing sexual abuse issues that have plagued numerous programs. The statue has caused outrage for many in the Louisiana tech community. I wonder what message the university believes it sends to our students when it installs a statue on our campus of a wealthy, famous man who sexually abused a minor when he was a star athlete. Such scandals have created turmoil in college athletics in Louisiana, where LSU is still coming to grips with implications of a scandal that ended the career of football coach Les Miles. More recently, Michigan State football coach Mel Tucker is soon to be fired for allegedly sexually harassing a prominent anti harassment advocate. When asked if it was appropriate to honor Malone in light of his sexual history, Louisiana Tech President Lou Skies declined to comment. 2 other administrators did not respond to the same question directly, instead of highlighting Malone's athletic accomplishments. The university is recognizing former student athletes who have been inducted into the highest professional hall of fame. People are complex and they have pasts, and when they become famous, they're under microscope says they're always haters. And the statues were funded by private donations. Well, I'm glad he have a relationship to his son. So that's great. That's great. I applaud that. I'm glad to hear that. All right, I'll be right back with another story.